Hello, everyone. My name is Taylor, and this is Cozy Corner. Make sure you follow, like, and subscribe for more content every week. So, today we're going to talk about setting healthy boundaries. I know for a lot of us, we don't know what healthy boundaries are. And as we get older, we start to realize okay, these things make me feel uncomfortable. These topics make me feel uncomfortable. These situations that I put myself in with friends or family makes me feel uncomfortable. So I know for me, one of my boundaries is I don't like for people to poke and pry into my life, especially if I don't volunteer the information. Um, I think with family and friends in the past, people feel like it's okay to ask a ton of questions and not really take in consideration that either you may not have healed from those things or you're still healing from that, or that's just a very touchy subject. For me, I am very, I have become more aware of asking people what their boundaries are before either establishing a relationship with them or having a conversation. I think that we should start doing that. It's so easy to think about yourself in that moment and say, hey, okay, well, I feel like this is okay to ask, or, you know, it's one of those things where because people have done it to you, you feel like you can do it to others, and that's not okay. We have to take into consideration that people have feelings and people have gone through some very tough times, and it's important for us to be sure that we're asking the right questions. It's I've noticed from the past version of me and who I am today is in the past I've always asked questions no matter how people felt about it, how uncomfortable it made them feel, and it was maybe around people that they maybe didn't want to talk to about it around, or people that have affected them. But for me, I feel like, oh, people should get over it. People should you should be past that by this point. There is no reason why you're still holding on to that or harvesting that, not really taking into consideration that that may have been a very detrimental, you know, problem in the past for them. And now that I'm older and I've gone through therapy, and I've realized that setting healthy boundaries is okay and very very necessary in your life, because I've gotten to the point where I've started doing that. If I don't feel like talking or I don't feel like engaging with people, I don't. And I think a lot of times people force you to say, "Oh, you have to talk to these people because of their relation to you," or "Oh, you have to go these places because this is what we've done in the past." But people grow, people, you know, um, move past certain situations, and sometimes people just don't want to associate with people that have lived certain lifestyles or carry these negative energy and just indulging in stuff that is not healthy overall. You can't force people to want to do what you would do in that situation, you know. Um, and it's all about taking yourself out of the situation and allowing yourself to open up to the possibilities that there are other people with different views on things. And in those boundaries, I also learned that, like, for instance, if, I'm texting someone or we're talking and there's a awkward moment of silence, maybe it's time to get off the phone, end the call, because maybe there's something going on and they just have depleted their social battery for that time period. Or if we're texting someone and I notice that either they're not really texting back or they're not really engaging in conversation, okay, maybe there's time for me to step away for a while and allow them to go through whatever they're going through and experience that in their time. Um, and those are just some of the things that I am learning in establishing relationships with people and in different types of people, because everybody is different. So you can't approach every situation the same. And that's another issue that a lot of us have, is we feel like we can approach everything the same way and everybody's going to respond the exact same way. And that's not the case. We all have our different views on life and, love and friendships and things like that. For me, I know being friends with people, I always tell my friends that I love them before I get off the phone, but some people may not feel comfortable with that. I can't force them to say that. And that's a boundary for some people. Maybe because either they haven't experienced love or they just don't feel the same way in regards to the friendship that you have with that person. Um, and so, with that, also, even in your relationships, you have to establish healthy boundaries. Yes, I understand that you are together, you're supposed to be a union, one flesh, and all those things, but they're still human. You're still your own separate individual person, and you still have feelings. Let's just say if you had a long day at work and you come home to your spouse and they're in a really, really jolly mood, and you're trying to force yourself to be in their universe at that time and not allowing yourself to actually decompress and step away for a moment and prioritize that you're not feeling the same way your spouse is feeling. It's okay to step away and say, hey, I'm not feeling my best at this moment. Let me decompress. Let me, I need some time. It's having that relationship with your spouse to be able to communicate that openly. I know for me, when I have been in relationships in the past, if they come home from work and they're not feeling their best, I just leave them be. I just leave them be because I don't know what happened at work. I don't know what emotional triggers there could have been or mental triggers there could have been in that moment. So I allow them to take that time to themselves to really process everything. And I think in relationships, we should do the same. I know this generation has prioritized overstepping even in our relationships and forcing ourselves on our spouses when they're really not in the mood to be social. They're not in the mood to be affectionate. It doesn't mean they don't love you. It doesn't mean that they don't care about you. It's just in that moment, they're not feeling at their best. And I think it's healthy for a spouse to step over to the side for a moment and say, hey, I'm not at my best today. And for you to respect that. Because if it was you, you would want the same type of treatment. And yes, for some of us that are emotional beings, we love to be under the care of our spouses. We love to be all in their space, but not taking into consideration they might not be feeling their best also, and they may not want to be affectionate in that moment. So you have to really find methods of ways that are healthy to say, okay, you know what, they're not in the best mood and I'm not either. So let me just step away and find a hobby that you love to do that is healthy in those moments where you and your spouse are not really connecting the way that you usually do. Life happens. Everybody process life, the things of the world differently. You may brush it off and say, hey, that's life. It is what it is. But everybody else may not respond that way, and you can't expect them to. I think even in our workplaces, I've seen situations where people process things at work and they're very emotional. But you be like, oh, if it wasn't me, if it was me, I wouldn't be like that. I'd tell them this, tell them that, and oh, this, that, and the third. But they are different. I do think it's important to also take into consideration that you cannot push your views and your beliefs in how people should handle situations on them. Because at the end of the day, that's their journey that they have to embark on their own. And you have to allow them the space to do so, no matter how close you may be to them or the relationship that you have established with that person or the amount of years that you have been with this person or had a friendship with this person. You have to allow them the space to be able to process things in their own time. That is boundaries. You can't go to them and say, okay, well, I noticed that you did it this way, but the way I would have done it was I would have did it this way, A, B, C, and D. That's not okay. Not only are you making them feel even worse, but you're also saying that they're incapable of making their own decisions. They're incapable of being able to process things, so you have to process it for them. That's not okay. Nor is it healthy for anyone to have to experience that. So you have to allow yourself to learn everybody's boundaries, no matter how long, new friendships, new relationships. understand their boundaries to establish a healthy relationship. That is so important. Don't allow your emotions, your feelings to interfere with their life, because it's their life. They're a separate person. They're not the same as you. You have to keep that in mind. So the next time you're handling situations, the next time you're trying to help a friend, help a spouse, help a family member, take into consideration that they process things differently. And don't be so quick to voice your opinion. Allow them to speak. And if they ask for your opinion, it's okay to give it, but don't give them instruction on how they should handle it. We should take consideration that everyone is different, and it is okay. It's going to be okay. You're not going to lose sleep because you are not allowing them to process things on their own. I know a lot of us like to take the charge and feel like we have to lead everything. And sometimes it's okay to just sit back and listen. So, and in doing that, you don't realize you're helping them work out a solution to their problem. But you have to listen. Turn your ears on. Close your mouth, turn your ears on, and actually listen. And that will build a stronger relationship. But that is all for today, you all. This is Taylor with Cozy Corner. Have a great day.